Hey everybody, hey Lisa.
Hey, Tammy, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Hey, everybody.
Hello everyone and everyone who's here for the replay. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm excited about what we're going to about today because I feel like I need to recenter on goals.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
need a nap.
I need one of those too, Lisa.
Hey,
Hey,
Suburban
Spur.
Hillbilly.
Yeah, good to
Sorry.
see you. No, that's all right. We were in sync. We could have sang it.
How are you feeling, Suburban Hillbilly? I hope things are getting better by you for a while now. I know she was sick and
Aw.
her animals were not doing well, and
Oh no.
just saying a prayer for you. Hey, Ark Wildman.
Hey, Ark Wildman.
Hey, P&Js.
Hey, P&Js. Good to see you guys. Ark Wildman, so glad to see you got your computer situation squared away. Woohoo.
Oh, good.
It's
That's always a
awesome.
pain.
He had a laptop crash on him.
Oh,
That's never fun.
no, 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 no.
It's very stressful too.
It is. It's because we've become so dependent and reliant on things,
Hmm.
and it irritates me because then when it doesn't work right, it's like, all right, well, what do I do? Because even if you have basic skills, it's always something that is
Hard.
annoying.
We'll say hard.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
never an easy
Agree.
fix.
Agree. So today I'm going to share. Good morning, Lori's World. Good to see you.
Hey, Lori,
I'm going to share our little banner. Oops. There
Mountain
it
Grandma's
is.
going to make us work today.
I need to circle back to what I want to achieve and kind of get recentered, is how I feel. Hey, Life in the Piedmont, Tina,
Hey,
good to see
Tina.
you guys. Thank you to my mods, and y'all keep your eye out for any trolls because we had a horrible one last week that was traumatizing.
Well, FYI, that same troll
Hmm.
came into my live Friday
You're
night
kidding
near the
me.
end. So
Ugh, that's awful.
I'm on it.
It's like I, you feel like you're face to face with evil. That's what she is.
Yeah.
Startling.
Um,
Anyways,
hold on one second, if you don't mind.
no, not at all.
Suburban Hillbilly bronchitis is almost gone, except for that nagging after cough. Dog is a
Mhm.
struggle getting her blood sugar. Okay. Well, we're saying prayers for you, my friend. I hope that everything starts to get better.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Praying
And the
for us.
regulating is hard at first, but then it'll get going. I promise.
Hmm. Yeah.
Go
Thank you,
ahead, Mountain
Tina.
Grandma.
So when you get into these big projects that you work on, the garden, for example, like I know gardening's big for everybody, and you've got soil revamping and you're planting new things and all of the time and effort. Oh my gosh, all of the trees that you cut down on your property, Lisa, these huge projects like this. It feels like when you start to be on the other side of getting those done, it's kind of like you jumped into a pool or a pond and you're just coming up out of it, like peeking up. That's how I feel with the garden stuff because we have, and I haven't shared the video yet, but I will be. But we have like everything in the garden on Mother's Day. Mountain Grandpa got out there with me and he wouldn't let me do hardly anything. And I let him do most of it. So, but we were there together. But he's so much faster. I swear he's just so much faster. I would have never gotten as much done because I'm not fast. I'm not very strong, which is really frustrating. And I'm slow. So, but we got it all done. And I say all loosely because there's still a little bit more, but all of my starts, except for some that I don't think are quite ready, are in the ground. And that's just a small handful. So now I might buy a couple extra and put them out there. But, anyways, so as I'm peeking my eyes up out of this big project that I'm feeling like I'm just about on the other side of, I'm feeling like I need to recenter and refocus and kind of think to myself, okay, what did I want to do this year again? How am I doing with everything that I want to get done? I mean, I know some people like to have it on paper. Some people just kind of roll with it, and you've got like this idea in your head of how things are going to go. And I feel like that's all good. That is a completely acceptable method. And I think that's the way a lot of people do it too, Lisa, even with
Well,
some stuff I do. So,
I mean, it was different when we were, I still do lists. I do.
mhm.
Um, and I do the lists for my own sanity because then I see that things are getting done because the
It's the
reality
reality.
of it is people oftentimes we make lists and the lists are, let me think of the right word, overzealous.
Uh huh.
We think
Oh
we
yeah.
think that we should accomplish everything on that list in one day, but the
Not
reality of
gonna
it
happen.
is it's not, it's overzealous thinking.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
So I
Absolutely.
make a list of things, and it was different in 2020 and
Mhm.
22
Yeah.
because we were building infrastructure
It's
nonstop. Like,
hard too, isn't
yeah,
it? That's
yeah,
what's going
and
on
then
over here. Yes.
yeah, and then
Mhm.
we passed that point, and so now I make lists, and I oftentimes my friend Diane at Shale Hollow
Mhm.
Farmstead,
Mhm.
we post our what we got done for accountability, and
Thank you,
it
Gwen.
works it works really well. But
Mhm.
we got all of our tomatoes planted in the greenhouses. It's way too early for them, but we're doing it because they need to get out.
Yeah. I'm a
And
paper person, Tina. That's
yeah, I
me.
like seeing them checked off. I do it on my
Yeah, that
phone
makes me happy.
because that's easier.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just one of those things. We got all that out, but we can't get anything out in the gardens yet.
Mhm.
Hey,
Yeah.
LP.
Hey, LP, thanks for coming. So as I was thinking about this, and I was thinking like I need to get back on target, and just kind of revisit what was it I wanted to do this year and why did I want to do it. Um, I came across this seven C's of success. We follow the seven F's. So that's just kind of your goals as they pertain to the different important areas of your life, your faith, your family, your friends, finances, fitness, fun, and future. So that's all the seven F's. So it's
Hey,
kind of like
Audrey.
keeping an idea of, what you want to get done for each of these things, even if it's just to maintain whatever you're doing. Is still a
Right.
goal in itself. But then are we working towards success with that? And I came across this that I wanted to share, the seven C's of success. And we're going to talk about these today. But they're clarity, competence, constraints, concentration, creativity, courage, and continuous learning. And you will actually find you'll find different methods of doing things. I just liked this one and thought we could talk about that. And maybe we could talk about these one by one. And surely, with it being almost the middle of the year, I'm betting I'm not the only person that maybe feels like they need to recenter, come back to, take a breath and think about, why was I doing this in the first place? Why is this even a goal for me?
Hey,
And
Sarah.
thing. Hey, Sarah, Homesteading Hustle, good to see you. So for
I need a nap.
clarity, I want to read. I found one thing I wanted to read. 80% of success comes from being clear about, and you would think the next thing would be what your goal is, right? But it's not.
Hmm,
It's being clear about who you are, what you believe in, and what you want, what you really, really want.
that
Tell me
makes
what you
sense.
want, what you really, really want. Like that. That's where that clarity piece comes in.
Well, and your purpose, your values, and all that are what drives your goals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to get overwhelmed with everything that needs to be done,
Mm-hmm.
like Suburban Hillbilly says, because I'm at that place right now, and part of it is just because, like, I know we're clear on what our purpose is,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
right? And so, and what we value,
Mm-hmm.
but it still gets overwhelming. And I can tell you the trees, even though we're done cutting, we still have a lot of cleanup to do.
I'll bet. I mean,
And
I can only imagine. We went and harvested trees for firewood when we were in northern Arizona, and I know how much wood comes out of one dadgum tree,
yep.
because we had to take either a, not to get into the details, but I know that's very well a good cord of wood out of one or two, depending on how big they are when you're talking about those ponderosa pines.
Yeah, the ones in the back were a lot larger and
Mm-hmm.
a lot wider.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And, I just called my neighbor last night to let him know that we've got piles that he can get to. And there's probably 5
Mm-hmm.
truckloads back there.
Yep. Yep. Give yourself grace. Absolutely.
Absolutely, because you're still
Oh,
doing stuff. Oh,
oh
Art.
no, Art. You're being tested. You are being tested, friend. I hope it was time to get a new one.
But it's like when you take on a big project like that, and I'm glad it's done, but it's not done, right? Because we've
Mm-hmm.
got the cleanup. But we're just at the point where we're trying to just get it done,
Mm-hmm.
but we're just so tired of doing it.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
we're dragging.
Mm-hmm.
But a little bit each day, it's
Each
ongoing.
day. Mm-hmm.
We'll get it done. Hey, Heather.
Hey, Heather. Thanks for coming in. And take a breath to celebrate.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, for anybody who is thinking about the things you want to do this year, I hope that helped being clear, thinking to yourself and reminding yourself about who you are, what you believe in, and what you want out of. For us, I feel like the majority of we're really focused on like life goals. What do we, those big things, what do we want? What do we believe? How do we want to live? And that's what's driving a lot of the decisions that we make. But every now and then, when you're making a big decision, you might make a decision and realize that it contradicted what your end goals are. You got to try not to do that, but it can happen. It's pretty easy to do that.
Well, if you don't have clarity, you have no roadmap,
Agree.
right? Because part
Yes.
of the roadmap is setting the goals and doing
Mhm.
things. But if you
Yeah.
don't have that, what you want, it just
Mhm.
gets hard to follow that. Whereas, we started with infrastructure and we
Mhm.
knew where we wanted to go, and it's changed a lot, and the road changed a bit, but we
Mhm.
finally got it to where we want it to be. Like, I
Yeah.
don't plan on adding any permanent animals
Mhm.
here because I fell in love with the pigs.
Yeah.
Um, so
All right. I'm going to bounce to the next one. The next one is competence. So this is your standard. You can't climb to the next rung of the ladder until you're excellent at what you do now. So that kind of thing. So those are the steps. Like when we talked about, and I know some people in the chat shared it too. You have this big list of things you want to do, and it can be overwhelming. And sometimes it's because you have one thing on there. Like you certainly wouldn't want to. I mean, one of our, and I know that this is you and I, Lisa, and probably a bunch of people in the chat. We want to be self-sustainable. That is a huge statement. That is an enormous
it's
statement.
near impossible.
It is near
It's
impossible.
near impossible is the reality. I'm not trying to say no, 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 you can't,
Hmm.
but it's near impossible because
Hmm.
none of us live in the perfect climate
Hmm.
to do it all.
To grow everything we want to eat. Yeah, because we
And
might
none
still want some oranges, and those aren't necessarily going to grow in your backyard when you live where we live.
right. Or, you have land limitations. Like I can't have a cow.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Same. Mm-hmm.
I mean, so that's
But to get where we our version of the achievable sustainable.
right.
So I think that goes back to the clarity piece too, like being giving a fair representation to what your goals are. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
anybody whose goal is to lose weight, your goal probably should not be to look like some person because that's not going to happen. You want to be your best you. So maybe
Right.
that's what, like, this is us trying to be our best us too, with the competence and learning all of the skills, which is some stuff that we've done here with the group that follow us and folks that join in on our live here, is to encourage and motivate people to learn new things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
That's
that's the thing is
awesome.
you hit the nail on the head. It's learning the skills, whether you use them
Learning the
all the time or
skills.
not. If needed, you've learned them.
Oh, wait, I think I read this wrong. Gone from very independent, confident, strong, healthy, and assertive to the opposite since the lockdowns.
Hmm.
You need to maybe, hmm, why is a good question to ask
Why
yourself.
is definitely a good question. Well, because I think the lockdowns took away. We didn't have one here, so it's kind of hard. But
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I think the lockdowns knocked the wind out of a lot of people's sails
Yeah, agree.
because they lost their own power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Growing and advancing each season with what you have and what you can do. Absolutely.
Hi, Uncle Al.
Hey, Uncle Al.
So I
Yeah.
think confidence is definitely about learning the skills
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that way you have them in your back pocket if you needed them.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Uncle Al, for coming in. What are some of the, so Lisa, is there any skills in particular that you feel like you're really wanting to work on this year? And everybody that's in the chat, drop what, if you have any skills in particular this year that you're really wanting to work on.
I am still working on knitting. It's hard for me to narrow it down to one thing because
Don't
the
narrow
reality
it
of it
down to like
is
3.
well, it's not even that. I mean, to me, it's about I see something and I say, "Oh, I need to learn that,"
Mm-hmm.
and I learn it. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, tomorrow I go to my knitting group and I'm going to bring my
Awesome.
drop spindle and my
Mm-hmm.
roving,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna teach me how to spin.
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's always things I want to do, but I think it's all about I see it and I go, "Ooh, that's a good idea," like. But I mean, here's the
Hey,
thing,
Neil.
if you even if you do willy nilly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You learn something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, knitting is a handy thing, crocheting is a handy thing, soap
Mm-hmm.
making,
Mm-hmm.
cheese making, all of
Mm-hmm.
that kind of things. Even if you do it with grocery store products to do your cheese,
Yes. Yes. Agree.
it's still learning how to do the skill. Like I've made butter with heavy cream and I
Mm-hmm.
bought a jar where you shake it
Mm-hmm.
and you make butter,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you
that's
know.
awesome.
Am I
Yeah.
going to do it all the time? No, I'll tell you why. My local store is very expensive for cream and dairy. So,
Mm-hmm.
we are just,
Hi, Homesteader Rochelle. Thanks for coming.
yeah, hello. I would have to buy all of that stuff. Yep, a jack of all trades, a master of none.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to just be the jack of all trades and the master of none. I'm good with that. That's a well-rounded individual right there.
That's what I think. I mean, I don't
Cheese
need
and
to be a
butter.
master. I just need to know how to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agree.
To me, it's about learning the skills.
Yep.
Because here's the thing: when the world goes to hell, does it matter that my pattern didn't come out the way it should have?
Oh, that's beautiful, Lisa.
Right, but the pattern didn't come out the way it should have. It
I
should have been
can't
like
tell.
this.
I
See
can't
this?
tell. Yeah.
Oh,
I see it, but
and then it should have
it
been
looks
like
like
this.
part of the design.
Right, but does it
Mhm.
matter? No, because it keeps my
Mm-mm.
head warm.
Yep, absolutely. Hi, Ann Haynes. Good to see you.
Hey, Broken Hearts Ministry. Hey, Ann.
I'm with you on, so you're way ahead of me with the knitting. That's something that I want to get better at. And yes, to the cheese making. I would like to learn to make a new kind of cheese and make the cheese that I've already made, because I need to, hone that skill, just because doing it just a couple times, you need to do it more than that to really be able to learn the skill. Those steps
Right.
to getting good at something. It's like learning it, repeating it, teaching someone else, those kinds of things. Um, and I'll and I'll say it. I've got to get into the pressure canning this year. I didn't get to the
Absolutely.
pressure canning last year. So water bath canning, yes, I can water bath can, and I'm pretty comfortable doing that, albeit very careful because I'm still like I'm afraid of the whole botulism thing. But those are like my biggies, and I guess the canning's probably at the top. There's a Jam It Up June being hosted by Kettle Kitchen
Yep.
and Blue Self Reliance next month that I'm going to be in. So that's probably going to be water bath canning though. So it's easy out on that one. But I've got to get good with doing the pressure canning.
Don't be afraid of it. Just do it
I need to
and
just do it.
you'll do it.
Oh,
Congrats, Anne.
congratulations, Anne. That's awesome.
I think the other thing too,
Being
one of my
organized.
goals for this year is if both of my sows are pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to try co-farrowing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got risks, but there's a lot of benefits to it where we leave
Awesome.
them both together.
Uh-huh.
We don't
That's
separate them.
right. I saw you mention that on a video.
So we're going to try and do that. And
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, butter, all you need is a mason jar and heavy cream, and you can shake it. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take long.
I've actually almost turned cream into butter before an accident, so it really doesn't take long. Just canned carrots and beef stew for the first time ever.
Good deal, Jamie.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna bounce to the next one just to make sure we get through these in time. All right, so the next one's constraints. 80% of all obstacles to success come from within. So, we all have this long list of, well, this, well, that, well, this. Well, the truth is, 80% of your constraints, anything holding you back, is going to be coming from yourself. So, I don't know. That's kind of comforting to me because it makes me feel in control, and I like that.
Yeah.
And I want to use you as an example, Lisa, because I do. Because oh gosh, and you just listed good ones: analysis paralysis, and yes, over and out. I get stuck in that first one. Um, Look at everything that you do on your property. And I can't tell you how many times I have heard people say or seen it in chats, I don't think I can do that. I don't think, I don't have enough land or whatever. And the truth is, look at all you do on your property because you use what you have,
Right.
right? And some people, I also see comments about, I can't, if they can't afford something. Well, the truth is, you don't need to go buy anything new. I mean, you can probably look around and either buy it used or look around at what you have and find something to repurpose, which you're also really good at. So I just had to
Thank
shout you
you.
out for that.
I will say this. Here's my piece of advice.
Hmm.
If you know us and if you've been following
Hey,
us,
Charles.
hey Charles, you know that we don't hack things,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
try to build things right. Even
Yes.
if it's
Yes.
from a reusable or repurposing thing, we try
Mm-hmm.
to make it truly functional.
Yep. You
Embarrassingly enough,
succeed at making it truly functional. I mean,
yeah,
you more than
embarrassingly enough, we bought some culled lumber to fix the meat bird pens.
uh-huh. What'd you
Look
call
at
it? What kind of lumber?
culled. It
Oh,
was like it's warped, it's got knots,
oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
but it was cheap,
Yeah.
super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
We fixed the meat bird pens after the tree fell on it and we hacked
Uh-huh.
it together. I'll admit we hacked it together
Mm-hmm.
because we were exhausted. We have to go fix it again.
Oh no.
It fell this morning.
Hi, Jimmy Spencer. Thanks for
Hey,
coming.
Jimmy Spencer. So definitely take the time to do it right because you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to have to do it over and over. We were hoping it would make it
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks while they're in there. Nope.
No. Oh gosh, and it does take so much time. Does anybody else have any get stuck with the analysis paralysis and procrastination.
Bye, Tina. Hello, love the land. Hey, Barb.
We love the land. Hey, Barb. Have a good day, Tina. Oh, Heather said I'm going to build some bottom boards for my bees instead of buying.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well, and money is often a constraint,
Mm-hmm.
you
It can
know,
be. Absolutely can be. If you
but
don't have it, you can't find it. Otherwise, you're just waiting around. I mean,
yeah,
and when I say waiting around, what I mean is I don't want to buy brand new furniture. I'm going to do a little sharing. I refuse. It's built like crap, anyways. Be
oh,
honest. The new furniture out there is it doesn't matter how expensive it is.
it's garbage.
I mean, that or it's like so expensive that I can't even talk about that kind of stuff. But anything that normal people want to go buy as a couch, you can't. It's not made well at all. I'd rather get one used. So I'm still waiting. We're still making do, and that's what I mean by or you're waiting around. Your project gets put on hold because you're waiting for that find.
Well, and the thing of it is, well, I know when I lived near
Yeah.
Asheville,
LP, I'm right there with you.
we ended up having to. I bought furniture, but you know what I bought? I bought a
Mm.
leather couch
Ooh.
at a
Nice.
consignment shop.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of deal I'm looking for.
Yeah. I know. I'm with you. Love the land. I
Yeah.
am so with you, and I'm so kicking myself we
Hmm.
did that.
Yeah. But the bartering system or, yard sales. I love yard sales. So this is a great time of year to get stuff that you need. And you're going to have to look at, quite a few of them, but okay, I'm moving on to the next one. Are we ready?
Yep.
All right. The next one is concentration, the ability to focus on one thing single-mindedly and see it through until it's done is critical to success. Even though you may have a lot of goals, you've got to compartmentalize, is like how I think of it in my brain, because I have to recognize there's a list, break it down into steps, and then shut everything off and focus on that one step when you're doing it, because then you're also present and you're thinking about what you're doing. You're not just going through the motions, which I can also be guilty of sometimes.
Yeah, the trees have been a I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep going back to
Thank you,
that,
Susan. You
but the
have
tree
to. It's huge.
it's just
It was a
I
huge
keep clicking
project.
my heels and hoping it goes away because we cannot stay with it
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because we're just so sick of it.
Yep. Yeah. So that focusing and getting it done, even if you do have to step away and think about something else. Um, that's my husband gets an idea and nothing else gets done till he's done with that. That's how I do too. Mm-hmm. I get pretty hyper focused, is what I think of it as. Scheduling for me is key so I can fit a little throughout the days. Yep. I take the concentration piece of being like, not that it's because sometimes you have to do things in steps. For example, you would not believe the yarrow that I harvested. I'm so happy.
Wow.
I It was like a bushel. This huge,
Wow.
big old, yeah. It's a video in the making for the May It Last collaboration hosted by the Budget Prepper. But nothing, I can't poof, just do everything. I took some of the fresh, made it into a tincture. I've got some in the dehydrator that I'm going to do a couple of different things with. But when it's time to focus on that, I'm focusing on that. When I get off of this meeting, see this meeting, our live today, I have other meetings, so I'll be focusing on those. So to me, the concentration piece is almost like we have to remind ourselves to be 100% present in whatever we're doing and make sure that we're approaching things I guess, in a thoughtful way. Accidents happen if you don't practice single mindedness. Absolutely.
Yes, they do.
And you'll miss stuff. Even if you're having fun, with your family or whatever, you have to be present to be able to enjoy the moment, or it's going to be over, whatever, if it was vacation, a holiday, or maybe a family outing, and you're going to be like, I was there, but I was not there. And I don't know if
Right.
anybody has experienced that before. I did when I was younger, one entire holiday season. And I just told myself, I'm never doing that again. And did
Right.
I mean, maybe on a smaller level, but because it's a skill, isn't it, Lisa? It feels like that to me, because I
Yeah.
feel like I've gotten better at that as I've gotten older, making sure that I'm always present, and that's kind of how I look at this.
If you're not present, you're just moving through stuff quickly. I mean, I can tell you,
Awesome.
like yesterday, you know how I feel about gardening. I want the food. I don't want to garden.
Yeah,
And
right.
I went out to plant the tomatoes, which is way early for us, but I had to get them in the greenhouses. And
Mhm.
Ryan came out, and I was just so appreciative because, like, I was sitting there dreading it, planting them, and it was so nice to have somebody
Uh-huh.
there helping me.
Mhm.
Hey,
Hi,
Christy
Christy
Betts.
Betts. Thanks for coming. All right, I'm going to go to
So
the next one.
it was nice to get that done.
Yes. Doesn't it feel good? Oh
Mhm.
my goodness. And it times when we don't. Okay, so I've always said, Lisa, you and Ryan are great at basically like digging in and just working something until it's completed, like all at one
Right.
moment, whereas I tend to break it into chunks. We did the Lisa and Ryan way yesterday, or on Mother's Day.
That's
I was
brutal.
thinking of you guys because I'm like, this is how they do it. And my husband was still trying to do more. I'm like, well, we could take a break. And he's like, no, let's just get it done. Get it. Where?
Yeah.
How many more plants do you have left?
Yep.
And he was out there doing it with me. And I will tell you though, remember the soil restoration video that I did with how I was taking some of the soil in the garden beds that were like mud pie kind of dirt, and I was mixing it with the leaves from the forest and also a bag of the real cheap cow manure,
Yep.
that's like $3, and it made a big huge wheelbarrow full, and I was going and I was dumping it into our big garden bed. So I had been doing that, and I'd do it, during the week after work. I'd be like, okay, let me see how many wheelbarrows I can get done, and I just do it kind of at that kind of a pace. And I was so glad that I had done that little piece ahead of time,
Yep.
because that's what we used when we were planting. It was enough for what we were doing, what we were planting. And but we did it. I'm so happy to get that done.
Well, it's funny because, we're trying to get better at not being the bulls and trying to
Uh-huh.
keep going until it's done,
Yeah.
right? Because we're
Yeah.
feeling it.
Yep.
So one of the I'm trying
It's
to think.
finished is the best feeling ever.
It just
For
was
real.
it was just funny because we were out there, chatting and laughing, and he's got a great sense of humor, and like I won this book called Nana's Green Thumbs,
Uh-huh. Thank you
and
for being here.
he was, teasing me because I was out there swearing and cussing, and he's like, well, yep, Nana's green thumbs and her truck driver mouth. No, but we got it done and we had fun.
Yeah.
Hey, G Mama.
Jamie said, I just did that this morning with weeding and tilling the garden, finished it, and it looks good and feels good.
Yeah.
Hey G Mama, good to see you. It feels like you have a weight off of you that you didn't even recognize was there. And that's one thing, your method of digging in, even though you guys, I mean, I hear you, you're going to try not to, because you could hurt yourself and it's exhausting, and you probably pay for it at least one day, if not several, from the exhaustion of just doing so much. But I will say it felt really good to get all of that done out there. Hence
Oh, yeah.
today's live. I now feel like I'm at a place where I can refocus, center myself, and be ready to kind of think about the other things that I want to work on, and how am I going to organize myself to do that. Organize tasks and what muscle groups are being worked. Fill up bags of wood chips, drive them home, dump them, go back. Oh, no kidding. That's a good way of thinking about it too.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nana plants new
Well, because I'm bent over in the greenhouse, and
Yeah.
it's like everything hurts. It's like, oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Getting old is painful.
It'd be different if I looked at gardening and said, "Oh, this brings me such joy." It doesn't. I want the food. That's all I want.
It brings me joy. I love to be out there in the
There
garden.
you go.
But here's the thing. And I've thought about other gardeners that I see when and I've got to just speak to the women that I see gardening out there, and they're just like hustling. And I'm like, oh my God. I go out there and I'll swear I'm not getting that much done. I just swear, I just feel like I don't move very fast. Just, I don't know what the deal is. Yeah. My husband will jump in and help me, and that's like his thing. He will do that if he sees me doing just about anything that looks like, it's heavy or hard or something. At 67, I have to work different muscle groups or I'm down and can't move. Yes, so important to be careful and not overdo it. Okay, are we ready to go to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Creativity.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah, and
I'm a fan of that.
it says be open to ideas from many sources. Surround yourself with creative people. Hey, our creative people. That's what we're here for. Creativity needs to be exercised like a muscle. We were just talking about that.
It does.
If you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Facts.
Studies indicate, I'm going to share a little more information just because I think this is cool. Studies indicate that between ages 5 and 17, there is an extreme drop in the creativity level, both in male and female students. As you grow older, your creativity level decreases proportionally, meaning it goes like, okay, so
Hey, Christine.
here's the line. It's going to decrease like this.
Ugh.
Yeah. The good news is that this trend is reversible as long as you keep challenging yourself. Consider Grandma Moses, who didn't start painting until age 80 and went on to produce more than 1,500 works of art.
Hey, Nancy. I feel like I've really, reversed that trend
Mm-hmm. You
because
have.
one of the things
You're
that
painting.
if you're always looking at something in a creative way and how to use it or reuse it or repurpose it,
Mm-hmm.
it comes to you quicker.
It does, doesn't it, Lisa?
Hmm.
Yeah, because that's really flexing your creativity muscles for sure. Hey,
And
Christine, Miss Gilliam Farms.
repurposing and doing things thriftily and making it function is all about creativity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it is. And thinking outside of the box. If you
You
have
have to.
a problem, thinking outside of the box. Um,
Like we used old conveyor belts we got out of a
mhm,
dumpster
mhm,
for the bottom of our meat bird
mhm.
house, and the reason why we
Oh,
use them
awesome.
is they were free.
Yeah.
They line the bottom of the building.
Mhm.
They're black, so they held some warmth when they're little.
Uh-huh.
We put the shavings on top. We wash them right off.
Uh-huh.
Perfect
That
floor.
is perfect. That's awesome. I have to create. It's in my blood. Me too, Heather. I'm I'm one of those people who, if I hear something that sounds like like a quote from a movie, I will repeat the quote and try to do the voice. Or if it sounds like a song, I'm singing it. That's It's a creative thing. But I do notice I feel better when I'm creative too.
Sure.
Um, I have to have outlets for that. And I don't even think it's just me. I think everybody should have an outlet for their creativity. Look at you with the painting, Lisa, and the
Yep.
knitting. And even that working your creative muscle, which probably helps to contribute to your out of the box creativity when it comes to problem solving. Right?
Yes, and the other thing here is, as much as I joke about and I'm serious, I
Mm-hmm.
don't enjoy the gardening process.
Mm-hmm. Keeping it
Here's the
real.
reality. Here's the reality. Gardening here takes creativity.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if I didn't think outside the box and I followed the seed packet instructions, we'd never
Mhm.
have enough food,
Mhm.
right?
Right?
So the past 5 years, all I have done is creatively do things differently and
Mhm.
outside the box. And that's how we have blossoms on our tomato starts before they went outside.
Yeah, that's
You know,
awesome.
that's
Mhm.
awesome, Gwen. I love those. Gwen, send me the link if you remember it.
Market Digest. Oh, yeah.
I've been making a bunch of them, but I'm looking for one that does like a one skein of cotton. But the problem is the skeins of cotton now have gotten smaller.
Mhm. Along with everything else, huh?
But yeah, I find that.
Including our bank accounts. Ba-dum-bum.
But well, it's funny. You know what Ryan told me the other day? We were laughing about it. He said every time I said I want to do this and I want to do that, and he said every time you want to spend money on gardening here,
Mhm.
he says I want you to take that money and I want you to put it in a jar.
Mhm.
And I said, why am I putting it in a jar? He goes, don't spend it on gardening here. Put the money in a jar and we'll buy boxes of produce from the farmer's market.
Uh-huh. Well, the thing is, you've only got most of us only have so much space to garden in. And it doesn't matter how much property you have, how much you got to garden in, because that's a whole nother thing. So you have to pick and choose what you can grow. And for example, I grew a lot of cayenne peppers one year and I dehydrated them. I made like an infused oil with them. I didn't need to grow cayenne peppers for a while. Like I'm still not needing cayenne peppers. So I'm not growing those. And I feel like that's part of it, right? Like you pick. I'm growing a lot of squash this year. I'm going to be making some squash candy, some zucchini bread, um hey food forest permaculture, good to see you. But I feel like everything is a choice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, but he's just teasing me, but he does have a good point, and
Mhm.
so
Agree, love the land.
yeah. So, we're using what we have and we still try to do things thriftily, but like right now I've got 3 greenhouses full of tomatoes.
Mhm.
I still have more tomatoes inside that I started later.
You're using a different part of your brain when you do artsy things. Won't say create because it means making something out of nothing, and only God has done that. Amen. All right, we ready for the next one?
Bring it cuz we're at 42 minutes.
All right. Courage. Oh, see, I just did the movie thing.
Courage.
Wizard of Oz. Courage. It
Courage.
says, most in demand and least in supply. Courage is the willingness to do the things you know are right. Courage, contrary to popular belief, is not the absence of fear. Courage is having the heart to act in spite of fear. Don't be afraid to use it.
You must do the thing you think you cannot do.
Yes.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, yes. I loved Eleanor Roosevelt.
I'm telling you, that is a powerful quote, and it's
Mm-hmm.
driven me for a lot of my life.
Mm-hmm. I like it. You
Do the
must.
thing you think you cannot do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what are you thinking you can't do? Is there
Oh,
anything
I
you
can
think?
do anything.
I think I could do anything too.
I can do anything. Will it be perfect? No.
Yeah.
Will it work out? No, but
Yep.
I can do anything. I just have
That's
to choose. I
awesome to
just have
know.
to do it.
That's
And I have
right.
to fail.
Yeah. It's part
I
of the
have to
learning
have
process.
I have to have the courage to fail and pick
Courage
myself
to
up
fail.
just like the past 5 years here.
Yep.
Gardening here is a lot different than gardening on the East Coast. And
Mm-hmm.
the other part of it is yesterday I had somebody message me on Instagram. It's a friend of mine in town,
Uh-huh.
and she goes, "What do you mean you only had rain for 2 minutes?"
Mm-hmm.
She goes, "It's been raining and hailing at my house all day." And I'm like, as the crow flies, I'm like a minute from your house. I said, "I'm telling you, it rained for 2 minutes, it stopped, it hailed, it was over."
Mm-hmm. Yep. My body won't cooperate, unfortunately.
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would love to say there's a magic bullet for that, but
You just
um
got to keep doing it.
you slow and steady. And the stuff that you can't do, you got to try to get somebody else to do.
Or figure out ways to do it.
Or figure, like for me, the reason the whole soil restoration took a while is because I did not want to overfill that wheelbarrow. I had to do it in the rounds. I did it in the way where the wheelbarrow was the least heavy. Okay. So I went and got the leaves first. There was like a reason for how I did things, and it was around how strong I am, and I couldn't fill it too full. So there was all of, you work with what you have, right? And I like this. I research to find the facts and the fear goes away. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. After I get out of that paralysis mode.
That's the thing.
Paralysis.
Sometimes I get in that downward spiral of researching
That's what I'm so
something.
glad.
Now, you know, obviously, if you're going to get livestock, like a cow, you better look into cows and taking care of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you could run into trouble. But when you're planning something like that, let's say this,
Yes.
the snail rolls that I did,
Yes. Love those snail rolls. I haven't done it
right?
yet, but I love
Did I
them.
sit there and do a ton of research? No.
You just did it, right?
Just drop the seeds in the way the lady did it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to try stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to hear I can't. You can. There's a way. You just
There
need
is a
to
way.
do it
Mm-hmm.
differently.
Yep.
It's
Always a
different
way.
if you're, say, paraplegic or something, but even
Yeah.
if you look at folks who have been in these horrible accidents and see them recover,
Mm-hmm.
they don't say I can't.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
They have more courage than I do.
Yeah. 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 There's some brave people. Mm-hmm. All right. We ready for the last one?
Dun dun dun.
I love this one.
Yes.
Continuous learning, friends. Continuous learning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I learn by doing. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. So we learned that the past few years, starting our tomatoes in February, has been beneficial to us.
Uh-huh.
This year, it was not. The only thing that I can figure is the winter was a lot warmer, so the plant stayed warmer.
Mm-hmm.
But everything was the same. In fact, I even planted them later, but they just got to the point where they grew so big and
Mm-hmm.
then went downhill.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of like
Yeah.
now we're going to have to go back to the drawing board and maybe start in March, right? And the thing of it is that you have no control over
Mm-hmm.
that. You do the best you can, but I had everything the same indoors.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's all about learning.
Yeah. Love that Ark, because I would think Ark Wildman knows everything about foraging, but to see him say always learning new stuff to
Oh,
forage, that's that's cool. That's really cool. I thought he knew it all already. If anybody hasn't watched his channel, go check it out and you know what I'm talking about.
oh yeah.
Matter of fact, I need to go and watch some of his foraging videos so I can identify some things out there. And Christy's
Yep.
sharing people paint because they don't give up and they find a way.
Oh, G Mama, no kidding.
Visual learner. Mm-hmm.
No kidding, G Mama. I feel that so much.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot, like, sitting there watching and reading through books. I'm like, oh my Lord.
I'm a reader. I love to read the things. I love that kind of researching. Oh my goodness. And yeah, I get ridiculous about it. So I've been really nerding out on yarrow. Like I thought I knew yarrow, and then I'm finding all this really cool stuff about yarrow. And so yesterday, after it was all I did and talked about when I got off of work, I processed, started processing my yarrow that I'd harvested, and my husband, a couple hours later, I'm like, "Did you hear me?" Because he wasn't responding. I'm like, "I was just telling you," and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Are you still talking about that?" It was like
Yeah.
4 or 5 hours later. I was just completely nerding out on it because that's what I
Mm.
like to do, and then I do it. But with this continuous learning, I think we've brought up a good point. If you all don't know what way is best for you to learn something, that's something you need to figure out.
Yeah.
Try something different. But
I I don't like instructions, but I like to research things. I love
Mhm.
researching
Yeah.
because it takes you everywhere. But then I realized that I'm getting sidetracked and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But you were talking about yarrow. We have a
Mhm.
huge, I call it a carpeted area of yarrow in our yard. It's over
Oh,
by the little
wow.
pigs,
How
and
nice.
all the trees are gone now. So I'm curious to see how it does with all the sun.
Mhm. Yeah. Great blood I'm gonna powder some too, Arc Wild Man. I was thinking of you when I
Good
was
idea.
reading it, and I remembered you made that powder. And I even read one person's experience with it where they had cut themselves very deep and they had cleaned the wound and then put the powder in there. And then it was deep enough, it was like almost to the bone. So they had to go to the hospital. And they said that when they got there, the doctor was like, what have you done? Like, the first inclination is the doctor wants to shame them for all of the stuff that's in there. But then it turned out the doctor learned something that day because there was no infection and the wound had quit bleeding. So it stopped the bleeding, like, Yarrow's supposed to do. And the doctor was, telling him that he thought that was really neat. So, um, yeah, thought that was cool. So I'm going to do some of that too.
I wonder if I could freeze dry it to use it as a blood stop because, or do I have to dehydrate it?
No, I would think you could freeze dry it. Arc, I'll let you chime in on that one. Arc
Yeah, I
Wild.
was asking him questions in the chat, but I just had that thought again.
Hmm. Yeah. I clean it well, and I like to, the ribs of it are if you've got your leaf, it's got short little leaves on each side of the little rib. And I like to clean that real well because I don't want it dirty. And then I would imagine freeze drying is the same, but the stems are good too. So the leaves and the stems. I don't
Yeah,
like
he
the
said
real
the whole
fat
plant.
stem though. Yeah.
Yeah, he said the whole plant. My
Hmm.
pigs love it. My pigs absolutely love eating the
I
yarrow.
think so, Heather.
Yeah, I think so too. Hey,
Hmm.
Aiden here.
Even use it for fresh cuts. Yeah, that's like, yeah, yeah, those are good ones. Hey, Near. Yeah. So now I need to, since I harvested this because it was a back and forth with my husband because I wanted to leave it. And he's like, no, we need to put tomatoes in there. And I said, okay. He's like, it's growing in the woods. And I was like, I need to just plant it in the woods. And I have a large enough harvest that I can use the yarrow for so many things that I won't need to harvest anymore this year. So I can plant more in the woods this year and get it ready for next year's harvest. So that's my plan. Um,
Jamie, yes, it comes back every year here on its own because this is wild stuff. So
Cucamelons, yes. My daughter's got cucamelons back behind her house. I mean, I know what they are, and I know that they have been coming back every year, and that they taste. I wonder if your cucamelon. I was going to say they taste kind of good, a little bit tart. I bet you yours got too much sun, Heather. That's what I think. That's what I suspect, anyways. The
that's what I'm worried
cucumbers
about.
get bitter.
Oh, cucamelon's got too much sun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's what I was saying with the yarrow. So sorry.
Hmm.
I um the yarrow that we have, it was here, right?
Hmm.
So and it's really funny. The turkeys used to eat it, the pigs love it, everybody loves it. But it
Hmm.
comes back every year. But
Hmm.
now it's in a lot more sun than it was. I wonder if it'll grow.
Hmm. Yeah. Christy, I have read that you can get yarrow in different colors. Like you can get it in red and yellow. I've read that they're not as strong as the white one. Yep, here Arcs say it. Yep, I've only used white flower ones. Yep.
That's what mine are, white and
Hmm.
wild.
Yep. Yep. Yarrow's a perennial here. We're in six something or another. 6B
Well,
or
we're 5A now, but technically 4B in my opinion. I don't know why they
something.
changed it, but
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for us before we wrap up?
I like this.
This was fun,
You
huh?
did good, Mountain Grandma.
Thank you.
You did
I hope
great.
everybody feels centered and ready to take on their next challenge.
Yeah, we've got about a minute, so
Mhm. Anything coming up that you want to share about for your channel, Lisa, or any collaborations or anything?
We will be doing Jam It Up June,
Mhm.
and we also will be sharing updates on the Bressie and Cornish cross. Even though they're a week apart, you can clearly see that there's no way, and even if they were the same age, they would be the same size. So we'll keep
Mhm.
everybody updated. But that's about it. We're just kind of playing by ear. How about
Baby
you?
Hueys with the regular Hueys.
That's right.
So we've got the Healthy Snacks 24 collaboration that's going on right now. If everybody could go and check out those videos, I just did my newest video, went up this morning. But if you could go to the playlist, make sure that you watch the videos and leave comments because there's going to be a giveaway. And the grand prize is a $50 gift card. And then we're also giving away all kinds of other stuff, including books and seeds and an apron that Heather at Milk and Honey Heritage Farms is going to be making. Super excited about that. But if you could also, any of our friends that are channels, share out some of those videos, that would really be helpful to get the collaboration attention also.
Could we just send prayers, well wishes, positive vibes, positive energy, whatever you believe in, to Barb's country home?
Absolutely.
She gets her results tomorrow. Barb, please keep me posted.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Barb, we will be praying for you. Everybody add her to your
Absolutely.
prayers. I'm so happy to see you're doing videos though, Barb, and you sound great. And
She does.
mm-hmm.
I see a Barb's video come up and I'm just like giddy.
Yeah, making lamb's quarter pizza. Oh, that sounds awesome, Ark. So glad you're going to be doing that. So Ark Wildman is participating in the collaboration.
That's
So
awesome. I'm
I
proud of
know.
you.
I'm excited. All right, everybody. We got to run. I hope you all enjoyed today's live and we'll see you next Tuesday. You guys have a great rest of your week and thank you so much for coming. Bye, everyone.
Bye.